get a new table covering? What do you mean it's not in the budget? What's the budget? Oh. Good evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'll just leave this right where I found it. Thank you for joining us this evening on this very special Valentine's Day episode. Hey, it's great to see you. I hope you have a nice beverage on hand. I know that I do. Let's get right to it because, as you can see, the gals are already here. That is right. We begin with the White Rabbit. Now, this is an action figure released by Marvel Legends, 1 or 2 years ago. It wasn't so long. I gotta say, when the figure came out, I thought, that's one that I gotta track down. And when it came into my local comic book shop, say it with me now, Ides Entertainment in downtown Pittsburgh, well, I just knew that I had to pick her up. Pick her up, I did. Or did she pick me up? And here we have it. It's a great little action figure out of the package. I gotta say, the detail is out of this world. These figures have really come a long way as far as it goes. All the little touches that you would expect from her slightly crooked ear all the way down to her Ugg boots. For sure, this really looks like fur. This looks like some draped fabric. Absolutely. And then we even have a watch on a chain in keeping with that Lewis Carroll vibe. And then she comes with her umbrella because somehow these animal-themed characters always have umbrellas. I'm not sure what the relationship is there, but nonetheless, she's got her ears, she's got her pink little nose, great touch, and her hair, truly phenomenal sculpt. Absolutely, this is some Farrah Fawcett Majors territory, bouncing and behaving. You betcha. So I'm thinking she uses Prel. I know that I do. And at any rate, I picked this gal up about a month ago. Tried to shoot a video. It didn't work out the first time, but I thought for Valentine's Day it would be nice to take another pass. Here we have the White Rabbit and the Black Widow. So we'll put you right there and take a look at the Widow. Now, we talked about Black Widow in our previous video. Yes, we did. And I gotta say, I'm a big ScarJo fan, and I had this figure back in the day. I even took pictures and worked in an article on thefoosh.com. Used to write for it, don't you know? And, well, that figure, I lost her head. Actually, I moved into this place. I was sitting right over there. The head popped off, it rolled under something, and I never saw it again. I like to think that my cat took it, but, well, I don't have a cat. Or maybe I do, who could say? But here she is in the package. This one is brand new. We're going to take her on out of the package and see what it's all about. We don't even need Sticky, although Sticky is here. Absolutely. He wanted to drop by for Valentine's Day, make his presence known. So we pull her on out. Now, this is the old style packaging, and you get a little bit of plastic. Oh, yeah. Now, they don't include plastic anymore because they're being environmentally friendly, you know, when they sell you the plastic action figure. But this comes with instructions on how to assemble the Mandroid. And the Mandroid is the Build-A-Figure in this wave. And you get the chest, and I think there's a gun in here too. So let's take a look. There are all the pieces inside the plastic shell. And we'll pop these out one at a time, making a hellacious noise in the process. Oh yeah, that is horrible. I'm thinking I should have done this ahead of time. But I told myself, no, Mink. We're just going to shoot this in one take. So, there you go. And here she is, free of her plastic prison after, what, 5, 6 years? Looking as sullen as ever. There she is, the Black Widow, and I gotta say, while I'm not really a fan of the MCU at this point in time, I was on board at this stage, and I thought that ScarJo was a wonderful addition. Here she is, rocking her Black Widow leather bodysuit, and One thing that I've always had a problem with is the guns. They're sculpted right into the holsters. What are you going to do? She's walking around with trigger fingers. She gonna, that's great. If you want her to scratch someone's ear or, pick her own nose, but otherwise, you got to provide guns for her. But that said, otherwise, not so bad. Her arms are really spindly. That's for true. I kind of forgot about that. But nonetheless, pretty nice. A little bow-legged. Popeye the Sailor Man, he lives in a garbage can. He likes to go swimming with bow-legged women. He's Popeye the Sailor Man. Oh, yeah. So I figure I'll have to dunk her in some hot water to get rid of this or, get her on an orange juice regimen. She seems to have the rickets. She does. I thought it was Jeremy Renner who had the gimp leg. Ooh, what, too soon? Maybe, Mink. But, all right. So, yeah, I gotta say, happy to have a Black Widow to add to the action figure collection. And, you might be thinking, well, what are you going to do with the spare head? She does, in fact, come with a spare head. Now, sadly, it doesn't fit on here. But that would be pretty cool, I got to say. I'd like to have a unique action figure all to myself. But I do have the old body. So, with that, I have two Black Widow figures for the price of one. Well, technically, two. But there they go. Uh-oh. I see some creepy flash fiction in the future. But it's 3 womans, $5. All right, so cheers. Let's do it. Okay, let's get right to it. We got a great big stack of comics here. Oh, yes, we do. Now, these aren't beta readers. These aren't my usual style. I gotta say, these are in slightly better nick than I'm accustomed to. And I'm really happy to show them off. Put you right there. George Glass, ladies and gentlemen. And we begin with Adventures Into Fear with the Man-Thing. And this is number 12. This has some nice bright colors. And here the Man-Thing is wrestling with a snake. How about that? And there's a cop about to give him both barrels, don't you know? Oh, yeah. How's he going to get out of it? Who can say? Here's a very striking splash page. No choice of colors. And then it's more Adventures Into Fear. And this one is number 14. And we got some kind of creepy cult scene in the bayou. It's getting so that you can't drive more than a quarter mile without running into one of those cults in the bayou. Not like it used to be, boy. It's good fishing back then. Here we have the Demon Plague. Swamp Thing being accosted by vultures, snakes, and alligators. Oh, my. And apparently there's some sort of weird vibe going through this little Florida town. And as you can see, folks, well, they ain't exactly acting hospitable. Raindrops keep falling on my kill! And this guy goes flying off the highway, headed towards a, newly married couple and their small child. How's it going to turn out? Well, you're going to have to buy a copy yourself to find out. And then here we have number 16, Adventures Into Fear. And ooh, I like that. This has what I would call spinner rack appeal. It's the kind of comic that you would see and you would be really torn between maybe the kind of book that you ordinarily bought and something like this. Are you willing to take an Adventure Into Fear? It only costs 20 cents. What is that today? Don't worry about it. But then what do we got on the inside here? Lovely splash. Valmeric artwork. Sal Trabiani, inker. Then here he is, Swamp Thing, rising out of the muck of a construction site. You gotta be careful where you're building those condos. This guy wasn't, and well, look what happened to him. And then it's Arr! Arrgh! Number 3. And I gotta say, I've seen 1. Oh, I've seen 2. I've even seen 4. But 3 has thus far eluded me, so I was really happy to pick this up. In fact, when I was purchasing it, the guy at the shop said, "Ooh, 3." So, I knew that I was onto something. This one is fun. It's got a little story in here about Bigfoot. Who dat? I don't know, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't some family resemblance there. And then here is Avengers number 81. I was really into the Avengers back in the day, way before the movies, way before the cartoons, way before the bubblegum cards. Yep, that is right. But somehow I never had this particular issue. It eluded me when a legend dies, or at least gets damp. I don't think anybody dies in this issue, but have a few things pointed out here. Wanted to show you, remember these weird half-page ads? What's the point of having 2 of them in a row? I mean, couldn't you just have 1 and 1? What am I missing here? And I was quite struck by this. Look at this fella. It's like, it's all very well and good, these cartoon superheroes, but then you see a guy like this and you think, wow, you know what, that's not fiction. Maybe I could get fit, maybe I could be really buff. Maybe I could pick up a gal. Who knows? I think that we need to keep an eye on this fella. I have a feeling he's going places. And not just into the comic pile. And then here is number 94. Speaking of Avengers comics that I never had, I managed to have 95 through 100, but 94 eluded my grasp. Behold, the Mandroids. And this one has Neil Adams artwork. And apparently, the Avengers are giving a Skrull a cesarean section. Why not? I mean, no judgment. You know what I mean? I don't know how you have your weird space babies. No judgment. But there they are, the Mandroids in all their glory. We were just talking about the Mandroid a moment ago. How about that? What are the odds? And here is perhaps one of the earliest appearances, but not the last for sure, of Iron Man's roller skates. What a wonderful addition to the suit of armor that is. Do you think he still got them? Let us know in the comment section below. Following on, and it's Conan the Barbarian, number 61. And this is it. It's the night of the killer moth. Apparently he's left Gotham City behind in search of greener pastures. And I'll say he's found them, too. I wanted to point this out to you guys. Very striking 2-pager featuring the many loves of Conan. How many can you name? And we don't want to close the issue without at least featuring the title character, making a brief but memorable appearance. There he is, the killer moth. And I can't help but think that if she wasn't wearing that fur bikini, well, none of this would have happened. Leave it at home next time. And then here we have some East Coast Comics reprints of those EC Classic comics that we love so much. It's crime suspense stories. Now, this is number 25 in the series of East Coast Comics reprints in the mid-1970s. It was pretty much the only way to get them other than expensive back issues. For $1, you got some very nicely reprinted stories, including a truly gruesome tale called Dog Food. And I know a lot of hay is made over EC and their horrific content. Somehow this story never gets mentioned, but I know that last panel will have me keeping a Gainsburger in my pocket from now on. Moving on, we have Daredevil number 85. And this is it. The Gladiator strikes. Oh, man. And he's striking on a plane, believe it or not. You wouldn't think that there was enough room for 2 superheroes to scrap up there, but, well, Gene Colan says otherwise. Nonetheless, we get pages and pages of airborne shenanigans, culminating in this. Somehow Daredevil finds something hard enough to smash his foe's metal helmet off of. So, I don't know. But it ends with Matt and Karen canoodling on the tarmac. So I guess that's a win, isn't it? And then here we have Daredevil number 106, and the Beatles Strikes by Night, featuring the final fate of Foggy Nelson. Oh, well, forget the superhero antics. I just want to learn about Foggy. Yeah, I do. This one was quite striking because of all the crying that's going on in here. There's Black Widow shedding a tear. On the very next page, there's Moondragon. She's bawling away. There's a crowd scene. I'm sure someone in there is choked up about something. Here we have Daredevil number 110, and who is the mysterious masked villain they call the Master? Well, if you've ever seen Manos, The Hands of Fate, you know the answer to that. At least I thought that I did until I read through it. I was pretty disappointed there was no Torgo appearance. So, if you're looking for that, you're going to have to look elsewhere. But we do get the Mandrill. Hey, why not? Could use a little more monkey in your life. That's what I'm saying. And then here's Daredevil number 117, beating up on everyone's favorite avian-obsessed octogenarian, the Owl. And then what's doing on the interior here? I know there was something I wanted to show you. Oh, yeah. Because it's the Valentine's Day special, I figured, who wouldn't appreciate seeing two gals fighting in negligee? You betcha. And that's no less than Natasha and Shauna the She-Devil, for those of you playing along at home. And then here we have Daredevil number 118. And apparently, circus spelled sideways is death. No, it's not. I don't know what that says, but I'm not going to read it out loud, that's for sure. Certainly don't want to invoke anything else. Then here we have Daredevil number 121, and I see a lot of covers, and this is one that somehow I don't think I'd ever noticed before. Really eye-catching, really compelling composition. You got your Hydra logo up there. Danger is the Dreadnought. Oh, yeah. And you get to spin the wheel of loser supervillains, and it comes up, the Dreadnought. And then here we have Dead of Night, number 7, and What Lurks on the 13th Floor. Not this, actually. What Lurks on the 13th Floor is a subtle, sophisticated, and bittersweet tale of suspense. Sure, you can pile on the corpses, the skeletons, but there's really nothing like coming at you from left field, and this story certainly does. This contains a number of reprints from Marvel's 1950s horror line, so well worth picking up if you like that sort of thing, and I do, and I think you do as well. And even though the Gladstone reprints are good and plentiful, what can I say? I'm certainly a mark for these East Coast comic reprints of the EC Classics. Here we have tales that will usher you into the Haunt of Fear. And dig this ghastly Graham Engels cover. It's country clubbing. And if the cover didn't convince you, well, then the back cover certainly will. And once you're done, you can pin it up and hang it up on the office billboard. Then everyone will leave you alone. And then we're talking horror comics reprints. Let's jump forward a couple decades. Duck your head. We're going to enter into the chilling archives of horror comics. This is haunted horror. These are tales designed to thrill and chill. Although, not necessarily in that order. And then, whah! Are you ready for some Iron Fist? Or is it this one? I can never keep them straight. Here's Iron Fist number 11, and the Wrecking Crew are making the scene. I make it a point to pick up the magazine anytime that the Wrecking Crew appear because, well, you know what you're getting with the Wrecking Crew. This is a wonderful era of Iron Fist, and I gotta say, anytime the Wrecking Crew show up, well, it's a blast. And then following on, there may be a legitimate criticism that I don't show enough DC Comics on this channel. So, as a balm to your wounds, here is Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. This is issue number 81 and a very moody purple cover. Here's something we don't see often. Superman trying to kill Lois. You think these two would have worked it out by now. Or at least Bruce would have taken him aside, Dude, you're starting to make us all look bad. But here he is snapping her oxygen line, which we all know is bad because in space, no one can read your word balloon. And then on the back, I was absolutely disheartened by this. That is, of course, Don Adams of Get Smart fame. Get model motoring. This isn't, in fact, a model shoe phone that I could use to call the chief, but, in fact, just an ad for some crummy little plastic car, which is incredibly disappointing. Now I have to keep using my shoe to pretend to call the chief. And that's not really all that pleasant. All right. Next up. Sometimes a newsstand stamp can make all the difference. Here's Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. This one's number 96. And the gals are faced with a terrible dilemma. Yes, they are. Lana and Lois are confronted with this groovy-looking cat. And he's saying, to prove your love for Superman and save him from the kryptonite death, one of you must drink this poison and die so that he may live. And the other, well, they got to marry him. And Lana, well, she's got nothing to say, whereas Lois, well, apparently she's got a date clearly in mind. So, I would look out there, Red. The ambitious ones are always trouble. And then here on the back, the monsters are back, and they glow in the dark. You bet. You got your Frankenstein, you got your Phantom, you got your Mummy, your Dracula, your Wolfman even. And then we have some Marvel Collector Items Classics. And this is issue number 2 from 1966. Why did I pick this up? Well, because I collect Marvel Tales. Does that make sense? Well, it turns out that Marvel Tales hasn't actually published all of the Spider-Man stories in order, or at least it didn't from the beginning, and so to fill in the gaps, I have to go to other places. This Marvel Collector's Items Classics gives us the, issue number 4 of Amazing Spider-Man, and the first appearance of the Sandman. You bet. And not only that, but you get issue number 3 of the Fantastic Four, and even some Ant-Man for you. And then here's some Marvel Spotlight. This is a nice early Marvel Spotlight. This is number 3, Werewolf by Night. And apparently this Rocky Horror Picture Show reject has got old Jack Russell chained to a wall. And it's not looking good for him. Initially I thought his tongue was sticking out, but apparently that's just his lower lip. But this is the Thing in the cellar. And so there it is. Thank you for joining us for this Valentine's Day episode of Having a Drink with Mink. I truly appreciate it as, you can see it's a little bit lonely here in the studio, so it's always great to share a drink with you. It's always wonderful to hang out. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe, and just maybe tell your pals about it. We'd certainly appreciate it. I'm Jason Mink, and until the next time, cheers. Popeye the Sailor Man, he lives in a garbage can. He likes to go swimming with bow-legged women. He's Popeye the Sailor Man.